Amen. Praise the Lord. We're going to get started this morning. Appreciate Brother Joe being with us. Thankful to be out on the corner once again. Do be praying for Brother Joe, going through a lot right now. Starting to sprinkle again, but that'll be all right. We'll let the Lord take control of it. Got a lot on our heart this morning to pray about. A lot of things going on. And of course, we're praying for the lost most of all. The Lord is coming back. He's coming back soon. We just want to pray for those that pass by. Say this too, it's not going to be on Facebook till I put this on. Not going to go live. We're just going to go tape it and then go from there. But I tell you what, Lord knows our heart. Let's pray for the services tomorrow if tomorrow comes. Remember all those that have been mentioned to us. Lord knows each and every one of them. We're praying for the kids. School's out. Probably won't be going on Fridays at 2:30 anymore. Probably go maybe some other time through the week and different places. But be praying about that the Lord will help us. Revival's going on all around us. They are going to have a revival down at Shirley Baptist Church. Brother Greg Jenkins and another brother. I can't. My mind is not good, so I do know Brother Greg real good. He's a wonderful preacher. We'll preach what God gives him, and we thank God for that. But be praying for revivals all around us. Church needs to be revived. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, God, as we come to you, Lord, we come humbly once again. We thank you, Lord, for your mercy and grace. We thank you, Lord, for your love and for all that you do. God, Lord, I know it's a cloudy day. God, I know it's sprinkling some, but Lord, you know our heart, God. We ask, Lord, you just help us, Lord, just for a little bit. God, to magnify Jesus, Lord, just for a few minutes. God, you know who will pass by. God, we pray to your Heavenly Father, get in the cars with those. Maybe somebody will see it on the internet, God, that they'll search for you, God. We know that you're searching for them. We ask your Heavenly Father, you help us, Lord, with the words to speak, God, just exactly what you'd have us to. Help us to preach, God, in the power and demonstration of the Holy Spirit. Remember all that's been mentioned, all that's going on around us, Lord. We're looking for you to come back soon. We love you, Lord. Search us, know us, draw us close. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Praise the Lord. I'll say this. Brother Joe's here with us this morning. The Lord deals with him about preaching. He needs to preach. Brother Darrell was coming, and it looked so rainy and cloudy. I told him he was going to come, Brother Joe, and I told him, I said, I hate for you to come up here and it rain us out. So we made it. We're just going to go next week sometime. Me and him and whoever wants to go, we'll go maybe next Saturday, sometime another. But be praying for him. They had Bible study out there at Faith Independent Baptist last night. Brother Darrell done a wonderful job teaching about some things that will be going on after the church leaves. And a lot of people say, well, preacher, is that important? Yeah, it's important. You need to understand just how bad it's going to get if your loved ones aren't saved. And they won't listen. If God's dealt with their heart, he's going to send them strong delusions. They'll believe a lie. They'll not even have a chance after we leave out. And so it's very important to be about his business now, to work whilst day, for the night cometh when no man could work. But Darrell done a wonderful job in that. If you want to go to his Bible study, they have it every other Friday night. So you get a hold of Brother Darrell Schubert. And if you ain't got his number, you can call me. And I'll give you his number. You can call him and find out what days, what they're doing. They go to the nursing home. And I'm going to preach a little bit about things the church ought to be doing. And we're going to get into the message here in a minute. But do remember that, listen, it's not just about, I'm not just pumping up Faith Independent Baptist out in Grimsley, but there's Mount Healing. And their homecoming coming up tomorrow at Fellowship. Be praying about that. Now there's Stockton, Round Mountain, Pine Haven. I can go on, West Benders, and different ones. that are about the work of God that I can preach about, I can tell you about, you ought to be somewhere serving God. Not serving self, not serving coffee, not serving drinks, not serving entertainment, but serving the Lord. So be praying about where to go tomorrow and be there. And be praying about what God wants you to do and then do it. This morning we're going to preach just a little bit. And what was on my heart this morning is I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to jump right in. Jesus, he had 2 commandments. Now, I mentioned this and I'll mention it again. Jesus tells them there, he said, on these 2 commandments hang all the law and prophet. It's love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, mind, soul, and strength. The second is like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself. Do these 2 things. I tell you what, that's what God wants you to do. The scripture there, I'm not going to read it, but you get into the scripture there where he talks about the man going down to Jericho. Now he's on his way down, and he's not going, listen, he's not going up, he's going down. But he falls among thieves. And the Bible says there that they beat him and robbed him and left him for dead. Now, he wasn't dead yet. Amen. But they left him for dead. The devil, amen, what he does is he beats people down and leaves them for dead. And a lot of people, amen, they've been caught up in drugs or alcohol, different things. That's a type of a beating of the world. It's bringing them down. They're not getting better, but they're going down. You say, preacher, what are you preaching about? I'm preaching about what the church ought to be doing. Amen. The neighbor, amen. He said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, this man is on his way down there to Jericho, and we see that he falls among thieves. Everybody that's around you that's not saved has been beat. They've been left for dead, and I tell you what, they're right next to you. Amen. They're right there. You're able to help them. But the Bible tells us about the men that walk by. And I'm praying the Lord will just give me liberty to preach about what the church ought to be doing. Amen. The church, amen, is left here to be alive, to be about the Father's business. Jesus said, he said, I'm the light of the world. He said, if I go away, he said, then you'll be the light. I thought about indictments. Amen. Now I'm just going to preach the way God gives it to me. He showed me about this. When people get indicted, they have charges against them that they have to answer for. And I want to indict the church on some charges that they ought to be answering for. You say, preacher, it's not of works. I tell you what, we've got everybody hiding behind one verse of Scripture in Ephesians, and they won't read on down to the next few verses and find out that you are created unto good works. You're not saved by them, you're not kept by them, but you're created unto them. Why? Because that's what Jesus left us here to be. He left us here to be that light. So this man, he's been beat, he's been left, amen. And we find that first there's a religious man, I believe it's a priest. He comes down through there and he looks on him. Amen. And he crosses the road and goes down the other side. He makes a way around. Amen. And I want to say this now. You say, preacher, our church would never do that. Well, how many times have you been to the jail? How many times have you been to the nursing home? How many times have you been visiting? Amen. There's some indictment here on you. Amen. Are you about the Father's business? Amen. Well, you say, well, my preacher goes. Well, that's good. Amen. He ought to be. Amen. The preacher ought to be going to the jails. He ought to be going to the nursing home. But guess what? Amen. God's no respecter of person. It's not just on your preacher. Amen. I tell you what, Jesus, the Bible says there that Scripture says that they looked upon him. Hey, man, people go into the church house and they'll look out in the world. Amen. And then they'll just keep going down that church house way. Amen. They're on the other side of the road. Amen. Listen, I'm saved by the grace of God and I'm going to heaven, and there's nothing that can change that. Amen. The only reason I'm out here is because God says, go out into all thy world, preach the gospel to every creature. Amen. And I'm not doing it for people or for show. I'm doing it for him. What you do, you ought to do for him. I tell you what he done for you. Amen. But we see that this man, he sees what's going on. Amen. Now listen, if you're in a church and you don't see what's going on in the world, you're in the wrong church. Amen. You say, preacher, what do you mean? I mean, if you're just having coffee and parties and baptisms and doing the things of Scripture, doing all the religious things, amen, and you are not going out and being a light to the world, you're not in what God wants you to do. Everybody can be religious. Listen, he wasn't happy with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they were trying to keep the law. Amen. They were trying. They wasn't doing a very good job at it, but they was trying. Amen. That's the way a lot of people are with their salvation. They're trying to do the things of God as long as it suits them and it feels good. Amen. Now listen, this man was beat. He's fixing to die without any help. Amen. Your loved ones, let me say this, your loved ones that are lost and undone are fixing to die. Amen. Have they got any help? Most people, they wouldn't do it for their neighbor, amen, but would you do it for your loved one? Now, Jesus said your neighbor. Amen. When your neighbor calls up and says I'll use this for an example. I've got a neighbor, amen. She's terrified of storms. She went through a tornado real close to her house. She's terrified of it. She called me up and she said, can you open up the doors and let me in to the fellowship hall to church, and that way it's concrete, it's more stable. Can you do that for me? I said, I used to be able to do that, Joe. I can't now because I'm not pastor anymore. But you know what? That doesn't relinquish. Just because people don't know it doesn't mean that they're not guilty of it. So when the neighbor calls, amen, I give her the number to those that are in charge of going and opening up the doors. And you know what they need to do? They need to get up and they need to go down there and they need to open the doors and help her in her time of need. But saying all that, I want to get back to here we come. We've got a Levite coming by. He's also religious, but he's not in charge. Amen. In other words, the priest come by and he was pretty much set in a position where he ought to be leading and showing. Amen. This is where we're at. Amen. The churches are not, the men that ought to be showing and leading are not. They're crossing on the other side. They've got their paycheck. They're doing pretty good. The attendance is okay. The money in the treasury's doing pretty good. Everybody's happy. Amen. Let me tell you something. A lot of people's going to die and go to hell being happy in this world. Amen. You say, preacher, what do you mean? I mean, a lot of people are satisfied with a car, a new house, a new car, a good job, pays a lot, they have vacations, and they have no need of God, no understanding of God. They just go, amen, every now and then to satisfy their soul, their flesh, amen, about feeling better about what they're doing. Amen. I'm indicting, amen, the church, amen, with the Word of God. Are we doing what the Word of God says? Amen. So we find here that the Levite comes down and he looks. Amen. Listen, just because the pastor's not doing it, amen, just because the pastor ain't going to the nursing home doesn't give you right not to go. Amen. Just because the pastor's not going to the jailhouse does not give you the right not to go.
That's right.
Amen.
That's good.
You love your neighbor as yourself. Now, if you was in the jail, wouldn't you want your pastor to come see you? Sure you would.
I guarantee.
Amen. I'll tell you what, he ought to be in jail with you. Amen. Listen, you ought not to be in jail except standing on the Word of God, and the world turns against you and says you cannot do that. Standing outside of an abortion clinic and they arrest you for standing for the unborn, I say, praise the Lord, I'll go with you. Amen. Now listen, you get out and you get in a fuss with somebody and you get assault charges against you, shame on you, repent of that, ask for forgiveness, amen, and I'll come and visit you and I'll preach against being violent against people.
Right.
Amen. I'm not out here to whip no sodomite into following God. I'm not going to beat him into submission. Amen. I'm going to preach to him the truth and let him make his decision, and it'll be on him. But he's in the road, he's lying there, he's wounded, he's beat, and I'm going to help him find the truth. Amen. Whether he's drug addict or sodomite or whatever, amen, I'm going to help him find the truth. This Levite, amen, he sees what's going on. He also passes on the other side. Now he's following the priest's example. Amen. They're not following God's example. They're not following Jesus' example. They're following a religious example. Amen. What are you following? Amen. Do you even read your Bible, or you wait for the preacher to read it to you? And how do you know he's even reading you the right scriptures? Amen. I went to a church one time. I said this before. I'm going to throw it in here. I went to a church one time, Brother Joe. The preacher got up and read a poem.
Oh, my.
Amen. I tell you what, amen, nobody got any help out of that. Sure, they all went out feeling good. They walked down their little religious way, amen, on the other side. Amen. But I tell you what, when the church leaves out the church house, they enter into the mission field. Amen. We got some, I didn't mention it while I was praying, but I'm going to mention it now. We've been praying for them that are going overseas. They're fixing to go over to Africa again, and we're praying for them. Amen. I'm bidding them Godspeed. I'm trying to help them out, amen, because I'm not going, but I'm not going to leave it to them. Amen. I'm not going to pass on the other side and let them take it. I'm going to help them.
Right.
Amen. That's what when you say, preacher, them all the way across the world. We need to be here in America. We sure do, amen. But we got a church on every corner. Amen. We've got people. Everybody calls themselves Christian, amen. Here in America, over there, amen. They're seeking God. Amen. They're wanting God. They're looking for God. They're walking for God. I tell you what, they're not getting in their cars, amen, and driving in air conditioning to the church house and sitting on padded pews, amen, and going through a form and a fashion, amen, and listening to, I tell you what, music, amen. They're singing it out of their voices. Amen. They're going, amen, on foot, walking hours to get there. You ask Brother Joe about it, he'll tell you all about it. Amen, because Brother Joe's been there. Amen, now I'm glad he's on the mission field here with me. But I tell you what, here in America, we ought to have missionaries out. Amen. Everybody thinks they're saved. I tell you what, that priest, he seen the need and went on the other side of the road. But then the Levite come through and he seen the need, but he went on the other side of the road. Amen. I'm indicting some things, amen, by the Word of God, amen, that we need to do. Amen. If you call yourself a preacher, you ought to be visiting. You ought to be going to the nursing home. I'm not saying you got to go every time. I'm not saying go every day. Brother Rhodes was a good example, amen. He went to the hospital every day, prayed with every patient in there. Amen. But I tell you what, amen, you ought to be able to go to the hospital and at least visit some. You ought to take time out of your busy schedule to go over to the nursing home and visit some. You ought to go, amen, by the jail, amen. Not just visit your kinfolk, but visit some that's in there. Amen. A lot of people, the only time they ever step inside of jails when they're going and visiting their kinfolk. Amen. Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to hell because I'm not related to nobody in there. Hey, preacher, what do you mean? I'm a new creature. His blood has made me clean. I'm a joint heir with Jesus. I'm not a joint heir with the devil. And listen, I tell you what, heir of the devil. I was following his ways. God showed me the right way, and I still followed the devil for a while. But God, amen, opened up my eyes. One day he drilled me with conviction, and I surrendered. Now listen, he didn't make me come and get saved, Brother Joe, but he convicted me and showed me the right way. Amen, give me opportunity. And I'll say this, more than one opportunity. Amen. But getting back to you, I'm not related to the devil no more. Amen. I was in sin. I was part of sin. It was in me. Not just on the outside. It's still on the outside, Brother Joe. He didn't save the flesh. But there's no longer indwelling sin in me. It's an indwelling Holy Ghost that's supposed to guide me and teach me to follow the ways of God. Amen. So as we're preaching this morning, we see the Levites, amen, going on the other side. Now this Levite represents every church member at your church. Now preacher, what do you mean? I mean everyone that's sitting in the congregation should look out the door, should look at the community that they're in, and they should want to visit. They should want to go out and help. Amen. But this Levite is representing everybody there that is just going to hear the music, to pay their tithes, to sit in the congregation of the righteous, to make themselves feel better. I'll say this, most churches don't have Sunday nights anymore. Shame on them. Amen. Listen, Sunday night's just as important as Sunday morning. You read the scriptures, you can understand why we have Sunday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night, or midweek service. You understand there's an example in the scriptures that shows you what God wants you to do. But anyway, let me get back to this. We find that the Levite, he knowed and he seen, but he went on the other side. He followed the example of the priest. Amen. But then there comes this good Samaritan. Amen. You know what he knows? He knows the road to Jericho. He's been on it. No doubt he's probably been wounded. Amen. He wasn't just looking at it. He's probably feeling it.
That's right.
Amen. Listen, you know what I can feel? I can feel I was on the other side one time. I understand, amen, of what people go through and how they are. Because I was there. I was beat. I was left, amen. I'm so glad, hey, listen, Jesus come by and saved me, yes. But I'm so glad somebody invited me to church, Brother Joe. Somebody preached me the gospel. Somebody bandaged me up. You know, that what happened, that good Samaritan come by and he seen him, he was wounded. He didn't just pass by him, he went and got him. Amen, he took him to the end. A type of refuge. You know what the house of God is? God be bringing sinners into that, the type of refuge. Amen, you know what you do when you get them there? You put the oil into the wound. Amen, oil being a type of the Holy Spirit. Amen, being poured into their wounds. Amen, their wounds will not heal with just bandages. Amen, they got to have that Holy Spirit poured in, amen, into their wounds. And I tell you what, it can take effect. It's a cleansing agent. This Word of God is a cleansing agent, Brother Joe. The Holy Spirit takes the Word of God, pours it into the wounds. That's the oil going in. That's that cleansing agent. Amen. Amen. Fuel for life. That's right, Brother Joe. Praise the Lord. But I tell you what, he took him there, and he put him. Listen, first of all, he carried him. He put him on his own Transportation. How many people have you stopped by and picked up to take to church with you? Amen. I tell you what, amen, you ought to stop, amen, and ask people, they say, I ain't got a way. Say, I'll make a way. There's a lot of churches around here that's got buses, amen. All you got to do is say, hey, come by and get me. Amen. No, everybody wants to make an excuse. Well, I don't want to go down there. I want to go here. And guess what? Every church ought to have somebody asking people, hey, you need a ride, call me. Amen. Now you're going to have to go where I go. Amen. And I'll tell you what, I'm not in the world and I'm not of the world. I'm not going to a worldly church. Amen. Not going to get a bunch of music satisfying the flesh to make people feel good in a spirit, amen, that's not of God. Amen. And our churches, listen, our churches are getting full of people that don't want to pour in wine anymore, or pour in oil anymore. They don't want to use the Word of God, amen, to help people. They want to use just anything that goes to get a bigger congregation. Well, there's a big congregation in hell. Amen. Broad's the way, wide's the gate that leads unto destruction. Many go in thereat. They're going in off the pews of the church. Amen. You say, preacher, why is that? Because most people's passing on the other side. Amen. This man, I tell you what, he stopped, he seen, and he moved. Amen. He moved with compassion. He put him on his own vehicle, his ass. He carried him to the place that he needed, that he could get some comfort. He could get some instruction. He could get some bandaging. He could get some oil poured into his wine, into his wounds. Amen. Oh, is that you? That's the church. That's what the church is supposed to be. Amen. Not the religious form. Not just going through a religious form. Amen. But supposed to be about the Father's business. Amen. So this man, he picks him up and takes him there. What, does he just leave him? Amen. He doesn't just take him to church and leave him there. He goes with him. Goes in, starts giving him scripture. You know what's wrong with a lot of our young converts? Those that are truly saved have not been taught the scripture. Amen. So we see, amen, he's brought in, he's bandaged, the oil's poured in his wounds, he's bandaged stuff, he's helped. Amen. And then, amen, it comes time for maybe it's evangelist. Maybe, amen, it's the evangelist coming through. Amen, preaching, amen, a revival at your church. Amen. The evangelist ought not to be bringing people in. You ought to already have them there. Amen. Listen, there's a lot of evangelists I'd love to hear. And I'll make a special effort to go. Amen. But I tell you what, amen, what we ought to do is try and get everybody to hear what the Word says. Amen. But we see here that it's time for him to continue on his journey. Amen. Listen, you don't just help one to stop. Brother Joe, you just don't get one saved and stop. You just don't help one out of the fucking bar and set it and get them to a place where they can get help and just stop. Amen. A lot of churches, amen, well, we've had one saved this year. Yeah, how many of you missed it? Amen. One's good if you listen, God sends them in. A lot of times churches ain't even out asking people to come. Amen. Now there's a lot of good churches around here that go out every week or every other week. And I'll tell you what they do. They go about the Father's business, and they're visiting and they're trying to bring people in. I tell you what, amen, God will send people in even when the church won't go out. Amen. I want to say this, amen. If God sends them in, God will take care of them, amen. They may not stay with you, they may go somewhere else, amen, but God's able to help. But we see this man, he picks him up, he takes him down, he tells he's getting ready to leave, and he tells the innkeeper, amen, he tells the innkeeper, he says, whatever you spend more, he said, I'll pay it. Brother Joe, this just hits me real good because I'm saved by the grace of God. But whatever I do is still faithful. When I mess up, it's still faithful. Amen. He said when I come, he said, I'll pay the rest. He said, you know what? He's got that earnest money. Amen. I'm secure in that. And I tell you what, amen, when he comes, amen, he's not coming after this old flesh, but he's coming after what the spirit inside this old flesh is going to come up. I tell you what, the body's going to be, there's going to be a new body reunited with the spirit and the soul, and we're going to meet the Lord in the air, and forever we'll be with the Lord. Amen. Praise the Lord. But we see here, amen, that he's telling the innkeeper, he's saying there, he says, take care of whatever he needs till I come. Now, what's the Bible tell us as a church? I'm trying not to indict the church, but I can't help it. Amen. It's God's word, and He's indicting. He's the one you answer to. Amen. But we find here, amen, that he says here to the innkeeper, he says, whatever comes, good. He said, I'll pay it when I get back. Now, what's the Bible tell us as a church? He said, occupy till I come. In other words, continue on doing the things that God says to do, even though He's not here yet. When He comes back, He's going to come back. Look, the Bible says this, He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Amen. But also, amen, He's coming to reward those that are looking for Him. Amen. He's not coming back after those that aren't looking for Him. Amen. I tell you what, you can be religious and walk on the other side of the road. You can be in church and follow the religion on the other side of the road. Amen. But you are not in the will of God walking a religious, I tell you what, oblivious to the world way. God says, look upon the field. Amen. A lot of people quit looking. You know why? Because I tell you what, there's some condemnation God puts on you. Amen. We've gotten into a church world, Brother Joe, we've gotten into a church world where everybody wants to come to the house of God and be entertained.
Amen.
They want to feel better. They want to leave feeling good about their sin. They don't want to repent of their sin. They don't want to cleanse it. They just want to feel better. Amen. God doesn't want you just feeling better. He wants you to be cleansed. That's why He wants to take the oil and pour into your wounds. This world cuts you up. Amen. Even saved. Amen. Things come against you. Brother Joe's going through some things the devil has fought him with. He's got some wounds. Amen. But God's able to take that spirit. Amen. Pour into them wounds. Amen. You know what? He'll have a scar. Amen. I have scars all over me, Brother Joe. Amen. Things that I remember, they're all over me. But thanks be to God that He put the oil in and healed that. Amen. You know why He left me a scar? To bring it back to remembrance. You know why they took the stone down the middle of Jordan? For remembrance. Amen. Not just to them. Amen. Now I'll say this, I may preach on this later, but I'm going to jump in real quick. They not only left a memorial outside the water, they had one inside the water. Have you got a memorial inside you? Amen. Is there a solid rock? Amen. A memorial there. You're standing on that rock. Amen. And nobody else could see it, Brother Joe. They couldn't see it in the middle of Jordan, but it was there. Amen. But not only did they have it there, but they had it outside. Amen. They took it out of the water. Amen. Say, preacher, we ought to have two memorials. Sure, we ought to have one. We ought to have a steadfastness in our heart to serve the Lord no matter what. Amen. Then we ought to have a memorial that everybody else sees. Amen. The sad thing is they see your life and they see how you live and they see how you do. And you're an epistle read of all men, and your testimony is garbage. Amen. Listen, the testimony of that priest walking on the other side of the road was garbage. The testimony of that Levite walking on the other side of the road after they had seen. Now listen, they're not oblivious. They had seen with the need.
and they refuse to help. Amen. Have you seen the need and are you refusing to help? Amen. You may just have religion. Amen. As I said when I started, amen, love thy neighbor as thyself. Amen. Who is my neighbor? I'm preaching about him. Amen. He's in the middle of the road.
That's right.
Amen. Listen, this man, it doesn't say this man knowed this guy that's in the middle of the road. It didn't say that he was kin to him, or he had a relationship with him, or he went to, they played ball together. He didn't mention none of that, because he didn't even know him. He went out, I tell you what, and seen the need, and he wanted to help. Amen. But we see here that the keeper of the inn is charged here to continue to help. Now listen, the keeper of the inn. You say, who is that, preacher? Well, he's a type of a religious person. I'm not going to say he's the pastor because he's not just the pastor. He's not just a preacher. He's not just a lay member. I tell you what, he's a church member. Now, a church member can be all those things. He can be a preacher, he can be a pastor, he can be I know preachers that are lay members. They preach, amen, but they go out when they're called, but they're there at the church to help the pastor. I know all these, that you can be all those, amen, from a church member. Amen. But a church member, amen, is charged with doing the things until the one comes back. Until the Lord comes back, you are charged. Amen. Now, some of that usually, well, then you're indicted. Amen. You face the charges. I'll say this, don't try and get yourself an earthly lawyer to get out of it. Don't try to go to a preacher and say, preacher, you think this is all right? You think what I'm doing is okay? Amen. I tell you what, the preacher, if he says, well, you just keep paying your tithes, you just show up to church, you just do these things and everything will be all right. I tell you what, he's a liar, amen, and he's headed toward hell. Joel Osteen wants the money, he's going to hell. In his Copeland, amen. And now listen, I mention them because they're big names, amen. But I tell you what, we've got them around here, Brother Joe. I don't care how you live, just as long as you're coming, making a number on the board, paying your tithes, and they got it easy. Hey, they got a check, amen. They're not going to tell you anything that's right. Amen. I tell you what, there's some people that can't be bought off. Praise the Lord. Amen. That's right, brother. Amen. I'm trying to get Brother Joe, I'm poking him, trying to get him stirred up. Maybe he'll preach, maybe he won't, I don't know. It'll be between him and the Lord. But I'm coming to a close here. We find, amen, that this innkeeper is charged with continuing to help. Not just, listen, not just every now and then. Amen. He said, help him. And he said, when I come back, and then he said, I'll repay you. Amen. Now listen, I'm not doing this for pay. Amen. Not doing this for repayment. Amen. But as the preacher said Friday night, or Wednesday night out in Darrell, he said, I'm a debtor. Now, I'm not a debtor to Christ. Amen. But I'm a debtor to you, Brother Joe. I'm a debtor to those that see them cars going by. I'm a debtor to Brother Rick over there. I appreciate him coming out. I'm a debtor. Amen. To all those that are around me. Why? Because God's given me something. And I'm supposed to be like that innkeeper. I'm supposed to continue to give it out. Amen. Until it comes. Now, are you doing that? Listen, people driving by, they have no idea what the message is. They're going by so quick. They may hear a verse or two. They may hear a word or two. But I'm glad for this. The Spirit of God can get in the car, take them, amen, home, eat with them, convict them, take them to church tomorrow where they can get a whole message. Amen. Or maybe they'll flip on the internet, flip through and find a message. Amen. That's that on it. That not only not only encourages them, but challenges them. Amen. You know, we got this thing going around. The men want to be in the women's sports. Amen. Because they want to win. They can't compete with where they're supposed to be, so they want to change it up so they can be a winner. You know that's exactly what's going on in the church. People don't want to do the right thing. They don't want to compete in the right way. They want everything changed up so they can be a winner. And every time they leave the church house, they want to leave puffed up. Amen. They want their mind. They're heaping to themselves teachers. They're having itching ears. They want sounding brass and tinkling cymbals. They want things, amen, soothing to their soul. You go back in the Old Testament, you'll find where they said to one of the old prophets, they said, oh, preach to us easy things. Amen. They don't want it. They don't want, I tell you what, the challenge of being a Christian. And nowadays I'll say this, everybody calls themselves Christian. You can't call yourself a Christian unless you're a Christ-like. Unless you're challenging, amen, yourself to be more Christ-like. Amen. I tell you what, there's a challenge to it. Are you willing to take up that challenge? I'm not challenging you. Amen. God's challenging you to be more of what He wants you to be. He wants you to stand, amen, in the gap and make up the head. He wants you to preach, amen. If you're a preacher, He wants you to preach the word in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. I've had preachers, listen, I've been in services, men of God that I highly respected and loved to hear preach. They've stepped up and they said, well, the Spirit's not leading me to preach. That's not what God's Word says. And preachers can be wrong. Amen. But the Word of God is never wrong. Amen. I tell you what we need to do. The Word of God, the Bible says this, the Word of God will not return void. I can stand out here and preach, brother, all day, and every bit of the Word of God will not return void. It will accomplish. It may be a testimony against all those that drove by that they would not heed. Right. But it will accomplish what God sets it forth to do. Amen. Now, I'll say this. Have you been challenged? Are you being challenged? This world's coming to an end. Life is but a vapor. We're here for a short time and then we vanish away. Are you being what God wants you to be? Amen. That's my indictment. Amen. You know what they do? What they do is they bring things out. Naturally speaking, they bring things out and they'll say, look, these charges are against you and we're indicted. You have to have it. I'm not here to defend Jesus defends me. Amen. This Word of God, amen. I tell you what, it defends me. Amen. I may not do right all the time, but I guarantee you this. I've got an advocate sitting at the right hand of the Father, and I go to Him and I ask Him for forgiveness. He's faithful and just to forgive me all my sins. Amen. He's wanting to help this morning. Amen. Have you been indicted? Now, if you've been indicted, amen, you got charges against you. And if you got charges against you, amen, listen, you say, preacher, I ain't been doing that. Well, just run to the judge, throw down at his feet and say, I'm guilty, help me. I'm begging for mercy and grace and love. You know what He'll do? He'll help you. Because He's full of mercy, He's full of grace, and He's full of love. Amen. But He's not going to help you through a situation and let you go right back out into the garbage of the world. Amen. The thieves on the cross. Now listen. One said, get us down from here. He wanted down so he could go back and do the things he was going to do before. Amen. The other says, remember me when thou art in paradise. I tell you what, I appreciate the Lord, appreciate being here. I feel like the Lord's done with me. You've been challenged. You've been indicted. Not by me. Where you living? You want to preach? You want to just testify? You want to do? You just mind the Lord.
already mentioned this a little bit while just preaching there, but you know, there is so much that you can reap out of that good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, probably my favorite part of that is he didn't just look upon the Lord, he had compassion.
Yeah, he did.
He had compassion.
Yeah.
He saw where they was at.
Amen.
You know, I see people a lot of times on Facebook they're talking about these drug addicts, these alcoholics.
Yeah.
We are too, brother.
Come on.
About to see them die of all of us.
Right. Amen.
Bible says that if we're guilty of one part, we're guilty of all of it.
Amen.
If you've done one little thing, the Bible says that for you to know to do it good and do it not, to him it is sin. And so if the Lord's calling you to go out to sing a song, stand up and give him a testify, or just to hold up a sign, Brother Rick, you know, and you don't do that, that's the sin against God.
Amen.
I've always loved the fact that you'll notice he didn't come to him and ask, how did you get in this condition? Where was you going? What was you doing?
Right.
He didn't ask any questions about it. He would, and he saw a need that he could do.
Yep.
But there's one of those things that I can't do. Like you said, you're not going out to God didn't, maybe you didn't call you. Maybe you didn't think that.
Yeah.
But right now that's not your call.
Right.
Your call was to come up here. And that's what you did. So we're not telling people that you can't do something. I told somebody here recently, they was talking about coming to church, and they said that they was too tired. I told them, I said, well, I'm not asking you to come and do jumping jacks.
Yeah.
The Bible just, he doesn't ask us to come to his house. It's a commandment.
Come on.
That's not
Amen.
together.
That's right.
Come here.
That's right.
That's what he told us. He's not giving us a request. That's a commandment. We're to separate from the world and gather up together. That's what God said.
Amen.
But we're going to be judged.
Right.
If we're going to be judged, what are we going to be judged upon? His murder.
Amen.
Right there.
Yeah.
And so people, what they want to do, I did this one time, Brother George. I got pulled over. I was speeding.
Yeah.
And the cop, I told the cop, I said, I didn't see no speed limit sign. He said, in the state of Tennessee, if there's not a sign marked, then the speed limit is 35. And you're supposed to read that in the law.
Yeah.
And know that.
Yeah.
And abide by it.
Yeah.
The law does not give you to break the law. And that's the same way with God.
Amen.
People might think just because they don't read the Bible and they don't read it in there that they're not going to be judged by it. No, sir. No,
Amen.
we still have the commandment to go out and tell.
Yeah.
But they also have the commandment to come in and hear.
Amen.
Amen. But
That's
we're
right.
supposed to go out and compel even those that won't go in.
Yeah.
But regardless, we see that this Samaritan, this type of the Lord Jesus Christ, he's came from Samaria, and if you know anything about geography,
Come on.
he's came through what this man was going through.
Yeah.
He understood what this man was. I believe Brother George already pointed this out. I don't want to repreach his message, but he didn't come up to him and ask questions. How did you get like this? He understood.
Amen.
He knew exactly how it happened.
Amen.
And so he didn't question it. He saw a need that he could fulfill, and he did it.
Yes.
What did he ask for in return, Brother Ricky? Did he say, hey, this man's probably never going to be able to pay me back? You know, there's a lot of people that I go visit, Brother George, they're probably never going to have either financial ability or whatever it is to pay me back.
Right. Right.
We're to be speaking. I told somebody last night, yeah, I'm speaking the kingdom to come.
Yeah.
Builder and maker is God.
Amen.
That's where my kingdom's at.
Yeah.
You want to repay me? What I want to see, Brother Ricky, is you in church and lifting up the name of Christ. That's all I want to see.
Amen.
And I know you go to a different church, but you know what I mean. When I go visit somebody, I ain't even necessarily asking them to come and visit with me. I would love it if they did.
Yeah.
But my brother George said, here in America, you can trip and fall into a good church.
Amen.
Here in Jamestown, Tennessee, you are not going to die and tell God I didn't know. Boy, the churches are everywhere, and I guess There's deceit going out.
Yep.
It's right here on this very street right now.
Yeah.
It is here. But just because there's evil going out doesn't stop us from being obligated to do our job.
Amen.
He didn't say go out if you don't see snakes. He didn't say that.
Come on.
He said go ye into all the world and preach the gospel.
Amen.
And that includes the snakes.
Amen.
So that's what we got to do. I can't worry about getting snake bit. Praise God, I have been here recently, and I'm not talking about in the flesh, I'm talking about spiritually. That old serpent's got a hold of me. You know what I have to do? Brother George, I have to do my apostle Paul, and I just have to take it off back in the
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
Like we said, I'll have a scar on my life.
Yep.
But I thank God that he's not running low on that oil.
Amen.
Boy, it's an abundant vessel.
Amen.
And he supplies us with that, and he told us to go and give, as Brother George said.
Amen.
And he will pay it back when he comes.
Yeah.
Boy, that's all that I'm seeking. I'm seeking healed. I like you, Brother
Right.
George. You know, I refrain from saying this a lot because I don't want to sound like I don't want it, but I don't seek to be a king.
Right.
I don't want to, I can barely even rule my own life.
Come on.
I ain't going to go out here and tell nobody. Anytime I look at somebody else and see something they're doing wrong, immediately the Holy Spirit says to me, what about what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Amen.
I tell people all the time, you know, I have a lot of respect for people, but I cannot have respect for somebody that wants to put themselves on a level that they're not. You know, we're saved unto good works, but I still have this flesh on me, Brother Ricky.
Amen.
I still battle with it every single day. And I was just telling somebody the other day, I believe I'm going to close with this. I was telling somebody the other day, and I believe I've said this before many times, but when I go and I repent to God, this is where I was getting at, that I have a thing that mentally, in this flesh, if I'm not careful, if I look around, I'll see things that entice as this flesh.
Yeah.
And I'm drawn by that.
Right.
And to me, that's sin. I don't want to feed the
Right.
outer man. I want to feed the
Amen.
inner man.
Amen.
And I'll go to God and I'll repent of that. And in my heart, in my spirit, what I want to tell God is that I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
One day I won't.
Right.
One day I won't. I know that'll be true. But unfortunately, until he decides to bring me home, I'm stuck here in this flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be plain and clear. I am not giving an excuse for sin. We do not. The Bible says it's clear. God forbid. God forbid.
Right.
We're to abstain from the very presence of evil.
Right.
The Bible says, be ye holy. That's another commandment. He
Amen.
didn't say to do the best you can, but
Right.
he said be holy.
Amen.
The only holy that we
Praise
can
the Lord.
have, the only holiness that we can have, all that I have is in Christ.
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you have too. I ain't trying to beat nobody down.
Right.
You know what Brother George said, the world does enough for that.
Amen.
I didn't even know the devil was beating me down. I was in the world enjoying it, not
Right.
even knowing where I was.
Right.
But then God showed up.
Yeah.
Showed me where I was at and said there was a better way.
Amen.
There's a better way.
Yeah.
And that's all we got to do.
Amen.
Our job isn't to go out and correct people, Brother Ricky. It's to just go out and tell them, show them where they're at and say there's a better way.
Yeah.
I can't do nothing for you, but I know a man that can.
Amen.
And I will help you as the best that I can to get to that man.
Yeah.
Whatever that takes, that may take going to Africa. You know, people say salvation is free. No, it's not. Have you never read that book?
Come on.
It's so expensive that it cost the blood
Yeah.
of God himself.
Right.
It was so expensive, nobody on this planet could pay for it but God.
Amen.
So no, salvation is not free, it's a free gift. Meaning that he gives it to you expecting nothing in return.
Right.
But
Amen.
he calls you unto good works, and I feel like I'm re-preaching Brother George's message here. But we're called unto good works.
Yes.
Your good works may be singing. Your good works may be standing and holding the side. It may be preaching the gospel. I don't know. I
Right.
can't tell you
Right.
what it is. All I'm supposed to do is try to encourage you to do
Amen.
what God is calling you to
That's
do.
right.
There's many times I'll go into church, I love to hear Miss Hannah Alcott sing. There's a lot of times, I'll be honest, I go into church and I'm praying that there's a certain song she sings and I love it.
Yeah.
And I want to hear her sing it.
Yeah.
And she does it, and sometimes that hurts me a little bit on the inside. But I'm not God. There's been a few times I've asked her to sing it, but I'll tell her if the Spirit moves you to sing it. I'd love to hear it.
Amen.
Praise God, it's not me to call you and ask you to preach, Brother Lord.
Right.
I invite you to come and preach.
Amen.
Preach for us if you want me to do. But I'm not God. It's not my call. I'm just an encourager. That's why we come out here and do this.
Amen.
He didn't call us to go and sit on the porch and just say, well, I'm saved, I'm going to heaven. We got a job to do.
Amen.
You say, well, it could have rained today. We could have got wet. Well, it very well could have.
Amen.
It was, me and Brother George was looking, it was an 80% chance we was going to get rain.
Right.
According to my phone, when I looked it up when we got out of the car there.
Yeah.
It could have rained, but by the grace of God, he said, I'll just hold it back.
Amen.
Now, it could start raining here any second. I don't know. But we come out here and we're doing the best we can to obey God.
Amen.
That's all that we want to do.
Amen.
I've had people here recently feel like I beat them down, and I don't want people to feel that way. Sometimes when you tell a child to go into the room and clean the room, what will they do? They'll go in there and just sit on the bed. Won't do anything. What you got to do, you got to go in there and check on them.
Yep.
What are you doing? Why ain't you just getting done?
Yeah. Amen.
Why ain't the nursing home being full?
Yeah.
Why
Amen.
are not in the jailhouse?
Yeah.
Here recently we didn't have an opportunity. You know what? We called them up. Now God's opening them up.
Amen. Yeah.
So praise God. Now we need to fill them slots.
Amen.
So I'm going to come to a close with this. As Brother George said, it seems that me and him both are just on the same page this morning. Are we doing what God's called us to do?
Right.
You know, I had something come up on but I had a calling of God that I've been struggling with here, whether God wanted me to do it or not, because I don't want to do it out of emotion.
Yeah.
If I try to do this, Brother Ricky, I'm going to mess it up. I can't do it. I can't. I know that we say it, and we mean well by what we say, but I can't beat you to Christ. Only Christ can show you the way. I can stand and let His light reflect off of me,
Right.
but that's all that I can do.
Right.
The cross is there. He will show it to you. He will draw you.
Amen.
You will come. I have nothing to do with your salvation.
Right.
Nothing at all.
Right.
If you get saved or born again, if you make it to heaven, Brother George, you want me because you stood on this street?
Right.
You want me because you was the pastor of Shirley Baptist Church?
Right.
You want me because you sat and listened to Brother Kevin or Brother Delmer Savage preach? Ain't going to have nothing to do with it.
Right.
It's going to be because God draws you.
Amen.
He knows you just like He has everybody else.
Yes.
The Bible says that He lighteth every man that cometh into the world.
Amen.
Every single man.
Yes.
The Bible says, thou art blameless, O man.
Yep.
That's what it says. And that's what I've been warning you. You're not going to get in front of God and say, I didn't know. You look around and nature itself teaches you the first of God. So we need to be out telling the world what Christ is going to come.
Amen. That's right.
I believe our work is nearly done.
Yep.
Nearly done. And I say praise God for it.
Amen.
I had a preacher that kind of hit me on the spiritual side there here recently, because he said something that I say a lot. Every time I repeat that phrase, even so, come Lord Jesus,
Yeah.
he reminds me that there's work to be done. As Brother George said, God is full of grace and mercy, but there's a cutoff date. There is a cutoff date
Right.
where that's going to end.
That's right.
Once
Amen.
that's going to end, you never run out of it. He's just no longer offered.
Amen.
You understand? People think it's
Right.
salvation thing whatever they want.
Come on.
God's got to be offered. That's what Brother
Amen.
George was talking about. During that 7 years of tribulation after he comes back, there's going to be no offer.
Come on.
There's going to be no opportunity.
Come on.
You can pray all you want. There's no opportunity.
Bless you,
Seek
Lord.
Him while He may be found.
Yeah.
Praise God. I'm thankful to be out here. Pray
Yeah.
I went and talked to a man, me and Brother T.J. Waters did here the other day, and ever since I'd seen him last, he had started going to church, but he still admitted to me, Brother Ricky, that he was not saved. I had to tell him that's not going to work. I'm glad that you're going to church, and I pray you're going somewhere where you've been fed the truth.
Yeah.
But there's a word there. The blood of Christ, it takes him. I was thinking all this morning about Moses and him getting to that red Dead Sea over there. He's getting to that Dead Sea over there, and they had nowhere to turn. They couldn't swim across. They had no way to make it across that. Their only hope that they had, Brother George, was getting through that untouched by that water. Was my God and my God.
Amen. Amen.
That was their only hope. They were trapped on all sides.
Right.
No hope. I said that here recently, and a gentleman told me, he said, we always have hope. Not if you don't have Christ, you don't.
Amen.
That's it. The lost people of this world have no hope. No hope.
Right.
That's why we're to stand out here and do what God
Right.
tells us.
Amen.
To show them that there is hope.
Yeah.
Y'all just continue to pray for us, pray for all the ministries going
Yes.
on. And as I said, I got some things coming up here next week that I definitely need the abundant grace of God.
Yeah.
And I ask that y'all just continue to pray for us. And
Yes.
I believe that there's a revival going on. And I've had Brother Delmer Savage on my heart again. He called me the other day, and it just lightens my heart every time I speak to him. I try to not put him on a pedestal, but anytime a man's walk through faith, and so many here are faithfully serving God, you can't help but just have respect for him.
Right.
I love the man just beyond what words can tell.
Right.
Him and Sister Irene just they touched me on the heart. Not that they're greater than any people that I know. I know many great men and women of God.
Right.
But God just specifically put them forward in my life.
Amen.
And I'm thankful for it. My point of bringing that out was I'm thankful that God's always got a man that's there. Me and Brother George ain't willing to do this, Ricky. He'll find somebody.
Yeah, he will.
God's work ain't gonna not get done because
That's right.
He's relying on me and Brother George. He's gave us the commandment and told us to do it.
Yeah.
You read over there about Moses, Aaron was coming up behind him.
Yep.
Moses would have kept refusing to do what God asked him to do. He already had another man.
That's right. Amen.
That's the way it is. God's not relying on us.
That's right.
People will say stuff like that, and I know what they mean.
Yeah.
But he's given us a task to do.
Right.
If we don't do it, he will get somebody fulfilled.
Amen.
So we'll go ahead and come to a close
Yeah.
here in prayer, Brother George, if you will.
Heavenly Father, we want to thank you, Lord, for the time, for the opportunity, God. We want to thank you, Lord, for your word. We thank you, Lord, for the Spirit of God. Lord, we thank you, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, for salvation, God, Lord, and all that you've done for us, God. You've been so good to us, God. We ask, Lord, forgive us and help us and strengthen us and guide us, Lord. Praying, dear Heavenly Father, for all those that's passed by, get in cars with them, help them. Remember, Lord, all that's been put up on our heart, Lord, in our ears, God, to pray for. We're asking, Lord, you just be in the midst, Lord. Remember, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, the lost most of all. Sin conviction, draw them in. Remember services tomorrow. Be with the man of God that stands preaching thy word, God. Just let thy Spirit move. Search us, know us, draw us close, God. We love you, we pray. We ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.